Are we going? Hey.
Good.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. My name is Dustin. This is the Ask Me Anything Hour, and we are at the end of our hour. We're a little late and just a little bit of time, so we're just going to do one question today, and that question is about multivitamins. We have a lot of people bringing in their multivitamins that they're giving for their children. We did the Flintstones vitamins last week sometime, and so now I have somebody bringing in SmartyPants. SmartyPants vitamins, and they say that they're definitely, the kid loves them and they're actually taking them. So I am a big fan of people respecting and understanding the micronutrients that we need to get into our bodies for this infinitely complex chemistry set to be working and doing all the things we want it to do. So I love the fact that that's the goal here, is they're trying to get minerals in there. And compared to Flintstones, we're winning hands down with the SmartyPants. So that's the good news with it. But I do want to point out a couple of things that make me a little hesitant to go ahead and give a green light to anybody doing this. Now, all due respect, I understand that there are parents out there who want to just make sure their kids are getting something, and they want to find a way to be able to get these micronutrients into their kids because they're having a hard time getting them eating things. Now that is kind of a bigger story. When you're actually missing certain nutrients, zinc especially, that can actually be changing the way that they're experiencing the food. And so when you have a fussy eater or a kid who is challenged at eating certain things, let's talk about ways that we can make sure that they're getting an adequate amount of zinc into their life so we can actually get to the point where they are getting the palate that is going to be effective in making sure that they're tasting things the way they should and not just responding to sugar. So we're getting way too much sugar. We all know that sugar has finally come out of the darkness as the evil doer that it is. So we have to look at the sugar content in here, and that's what I'm concerned about. We have 3 grams of added sugars in here. So not terrible, right? It's actually enough to be able to get that as a delivery mechanism, but where else are they getting sugar over the day? And if we look back historically, we have learned that the World Health Organization and MD Anderson and Mayo Clinic and all these medical authorities would agree that 25 grams a day is the limit for added sugars for a fully grown adult and a healthy fully grown adult, one with a normal BMI. So when we're looking at somebody who's half that size, we have to think of at least half of that. And so you're almost a third or a fourth of your way to your daily added sugar allowance for a healthy child when you're doing this. So you have to be aware of that and putting that into the entire equation. So if they're doing this and they're eating a bunch of sugar, it may be kind of not a good thing at that point. So the other thing, and yes, they are using organic rice syrup and organic cane sugar, so obviously a better source than something like high fructose corn syrup or other things like that. And there are some valuable things in here. But they're also using synthetics. I'm sorry to say, SmartyPants, that I would prefer we were getting this from a whole food, because when you're saying on here that vitamin E is as D-alpha tocopherol, now it does say from sunflower oil, so I'd like to know, is it actually a whole food version of it and you're only counting the D-alpha tocopherol, or is it actually the whole food and it's all in there? Because vitamin E is a very complex thing. There's more than just D-alpha tocopherol. There's alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and tocotrienols in a whole food. So when you're eating the actual sunflower seed, you're getting all of those. So again, eating the whole foods is always going to be infinitely better because that's the way that nature has packaged it for us. So it's a little confusing when we're looking at this because it does say vitamin C as ascorbic acid, and as we know, that is just the antioxidant shell to the vitamin C complex. And if you're not getting the other components that you would get from eating a strawberry or a bell pepper or from kiwi, then you're actually going to create a deficit in those unnamed micronutrients that would be in a whole food vitamin C complex. And so that's why I want to know more about this. What are the actual sourcing on it? And I don't see anything in the ingredients that would suggest that it's getting a whole food source of actual vitamin C. So when we are looking at supplements, that's where we get danger. We have people getting synthetic chemicals coming in that are representing what is allowed to be called vitamin C, what's allowed to be called vitamin E, and they're not necessarily going to give you what your body really needs. Infinitely better if you can get your kids, and I know that there are nut allergies out there, but nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds are actually going to help with that zinc. Walnuts, sprinkle them on their oatmeal in the morning. Even so, the same person who brought me in this actually brought in as a gift some dark chocolate covered walnuts because they know how much I love walnuts. And I'm looking at this, you're going to get a lot of nutrients in here, potassium and iron and magnesium and all those minerals that you're worried about, and sugar. but it's the same sugar as that you'd be getting in here. So even if you need to rotate that out and get a whole food in there, I would prefer you were actually doing a chocolate covered walnut with some other walnuts to get them to eat the whole food, because then you're also getting the fiber, you're also getting the fat, you're getting the protein, you're getting so much more when you're getting the whole food in there. So is it a terrible thing? It's probably better than just eating a diet of Cheerios and toast. Yes, this will actually help contribute to a little more mineral content, but you have to be aware of the fact that it isn't the best answer. Whole foods are gonna be the best answer. Make sure you're finding ways to get those nutrients in there. So I hope that answers your questions about SmartyPants. Definitely it is progression from the Flintstones. It's definitely an evolution from there. It's got some better options to it. You are hitting your chromium and your selenium and your manganese, and that's really good, but we always want to try to get it from a whole food source. So don't be afraid to offer your children these options, and you never know what they're going to respond to. And if they're really having a hard time and they're refusing and turning their nose up to everything, concentrate on finding ways to get zinc into their life. And zinc can come in forms of lots of seafood, but pumpkin seeds are going to be my favorite one. And pumpkin seed butter sometime you can actually use instead of just the pumpkin seeds. If you're using peanut butter, substitute that in, get some more zinc into their lives, and that can make a big difference for it. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this is helpful. Please keep those products coming in. Sorry we don't have more time for a lot more products today, but next Tuesday we will have a lot more. We'll go through all 5 of the questions that are in queue, and we will see you then. Have a great weekend.